What's up, YouTube? Guerrero here. I'm here with Black Magic, Don Mega, and Lightbright. So, we're coming to an interesting topic this week. Lightbright sent this in because due to Gronkowski, you know, he retired. He's done after 9 seasons with the New England Patriots. Lightbright sent us a nice little topic to talk about who's next, who's going to step up and fill that number one spot of tight end in the league. The four options Lightbright gave us, but not limited to, are Zach Ertz.
You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, yo. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. He doesn't need his name up in lights, he just wants to be heard, whether it's the beat or the mic. He feels so unlike everybody else, alone, in spite of the fact that some people still think that they know him, but fuck him, he knows the code. It's not about the salary, it's all about reality and making some noise, making a story, making sure his click stays up. That means when he puts it down, Tox picking it up. Let's go.
Who the hell is he anyway? He never really talks much, never concerned with status, but still leaving him starstruck. Humble through opportunities given despite the fact that many misjudge him cause he makes a living from writing raps. Put it together himself, got a picture connects, never asking for someone's help or to get some respect. He's only focused on what he wrote, his will is beyond reach, and now it all unfolds, the skill of an artist. This is 20% skill, 80% fear, be 100% clear, cause Ryu was ill. Who would've thought he'd be the one that set the West in flames? And I heard him wreck it with the crystal method, name of the game. Came back, dropped Megadeth, took him to church. I like Bleach, man, Ryu had the stupidest verse, this dude is the truth. Now everybody giving them guest spots and stocks through the roof. I heard he fucking with that stock.
This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
They call him Ryu, he's sick and he's spitting fire and Mike got him out the dryer, he's hot. Found him in Fort Minor with top, but a fucking nihilist porcupine. He's a prick, he's a cop. The type women wanna be within rappers, hope he gets shot. 8 years in the making, patiently waiting to blow. Now the record with your notice taking over the globe. He's got a partner in crime, his shit is equally dope. You won't believe the kind of shit that comes out of this kid's throat top. He's not your everyday on the block, he knows how to work with what he's got, making his way to the top. He don't think it's a comment on his name, people keep asking him, was it given that birth or does it stand for an acronym? No, he's living proof, let him rock in the booth. He'll get you buzzing quicker than a shot of vodka with juice. Him and his crew are known around as one of the best, dedicated to what they do and give 100%.
Forget Mike, nobody really knows how or why he works so hard. It seems like he's never got time because he writes every note and he writes every line. And I've seen him at work when that light goes on in his mind. It's like a design is written in his head every time before he even touches a key or speaks in a rhyme. And those motherfuckers he runs with, the kids that he signed, ridiculous, without even trying. How do they do it? This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name. Yeah. Fort Minor, M. Shinoda, styles of beyond. Ryu, Talk Beer, Machine Shop.
These are the four that Lightbright sent us, but who knows? Other guys might have a different opinion on a different tight end, or it might be one of these four. We'll have to see. But with that being said, right now we're just gonna go list off real quick who we think is number one, and then we'll go back through and explain why. Okay, so Lightbright, tell me who you think is the future number one tight end right now.
Zach Ertz.
Okay, Don Mega.
Travis Kelce, easy.
Okay, Black Magic.
Travis Kelce.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
All right, I got Travis Kelce going as well. I got Travis Kelce as well. So, with that being said, let's go. Light Bright, you're the only one who's got a different one. So with Zach Ertz, so you tell us, I guess, why Zach Ertz is the number one.
I mean, honestly, man, like, just looking through his career stats and the way that he plays, man, like, this boy has just, like, he's been balling. And especially last year, I mean, he had 116 receptions. He broke the record for most receptions for a tight end in a season, which was previously held by Jason Witten at 101. Yeah, but that got broke, and he had 1,163 yards, was averaging 10 yards a catch, and he had 8 touchdowns. And his overall career, I mean, he has 427 receptions, 4,827 yards, averages 11 yards a carry, and has 29 touchdowns. I mean, and just looking at it overall, man, I mean, he's just been balling since he's been in the league.
Okay, fair enough. So, all right, fair stats. Okay, Black Magic, you got anything to repute that with Travis Kelce?
With Travis Kelce? Oh, yes. I have a lot to repeat with that with Travis Kelce. Yes. I see you. Why you like Zach Ertz? Because, like, he has the most, like, he tied for the, or he broke the record for the most. He broke the record for the most receptions by a tight end. But if you look at what Travis Kelce has done ever since in the league, he's only had 2 seasons where he's only had 800-something yards the whole entire season. And look who was throwing to him the whole entire time. He didn't need that many receptions to reach 1,000 yards for the past, 4 years? No?
3 years.
On top of that, what? Like he was averaging about 8 touchdowns. 8 touchdowns a season?
No, he was averaging closer to 5 a season.
Yeah, closer to 5. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't his last 2 seasons that he had 8 and 17 and 10 last year.
Yeah, like this is just going off of just memory because I didn't write anything down.
No, you're good.
Or anything, but yeah, but if you see what Travis Kelce has just done, especially with the people that are throwing to him now, he has an actual quarterback that could deliver the ball to him, and then on top of that, he has other weapons that could help him. So he doesn't need to, what am I saying? Get 1,000 yards a season in order to be a productive tight end. He's a very good third down threat. He has power, he has size, and he's just a dual threat as a tight end. And that's why I think that Travis Kelce is the next upcoming tight end, or already is.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Don Mega, anything to add on Travis Kelce with that?
Travis Kelce? Come on, man. This dude's prolific. And don't get me wrong, I love watching Gronk play, but for the last 3 years, he wasn't the top tight end. But Travis Kelce has been coming through every season, putting up stats. And not only was he just 7 or 8 passes caught in the season, but he had more yards than him. Sitting at 1336 off 103, while Zach Ertz is at 116, 1163. You know what I mean? That's a kind of dominance,
yards after catch kind of momentum.
And then you got all those other offensive weapons, so you can still hide them, but still utilize them at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and on top of that, like I was saying earlier in the argument, he didn't need that many receptions. Need to average that many receptions to reach 1,000 yards every season.
No, definitely not.
He didn't. Even though he got, like you guys said, he averaged 5 touchdowns a season. He still got 1,000 receiving yards.
Yeah.
The past how many seasons?
Since 2013.
The last 3.
Huh?
He's had last 3 years. He's gotten over 1,000 yards.
Yes, exactly. As a tight end, that's crazy.
But
this is when Gronkowski started being actual injury prone and hinting that he's going to be retiring in the next couple of years or the next several years. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
That's when Travis Kelce broke out.
I got one other thing though. I know George Kittle did his thing. Don't get me wrong. I know he did his thing, and I think with Jimmy G coming back next year, he's going to ball out. But I have like a sneaky suspicion Jesse James from the fucking Pittsburgh Steelers might ball out next year.
I can see that.
I can see
I
that.
could- I could-
Y'all
I
remember
could
that catch in the fucking what playoff game was that? What, 2 years ago? What was that?
The
The Chiefs?
No, when he caught it, but it was like controversial. He like caught it and bobbled it, kind of.
That was
You
against the
remember it was
like in the
Patriots.
end zone. That was the Patriots.
That was against the
like,
Patriots.
He bobbled it and then like
Yeah,
caught it in
he
the end
caught it,
zone.
but yeah. But like with Antonio Brown gone and Le'Veon Bell gone, like I think they're going to implement him a whole lot more in that offense. And I think
Hey,
he will. I think
hey.
this is going to be one of his breakout years, honestly.
Hey, do you know who my sleeper is? My other sleeper is, except for the tight ends that we just mentioned.
Who?
My other sleeper is everybody. Like he had a breakout season until he got injured, and then like he was kind of started like declining a little bit. But I think he's gonna come back again. Greg Olson.
You think so?
Greg Olson
Yes.
from the
Greg
Carolina
Olson.
Panthers.
man.
From
Okay.
the
Greg
Carolina
Olson reminds
Panthers.
me of Jason Witten.
Nah.
Nah.
I could definitely tell you who my sleeper is.
Well, so I got
Oh, how about you? Yeah, Sean.
I
Tell
got
us why.
I got Travis Kelce, and here's my thing. So out of these four that we talked about, that Light Bright sent of Zach Ertz, Travis Kelce, Kittle, and Rudolph, Travis Kelce and Zach Ertz were drafted the same year. Granted, Zach Ertz went in the second round, and Kelce went in the third. Now, with that being said, in 2013, Kelce didn't play at all. He didn't play his rookie year. Now, the way I did my research is on these four specific players was I wanted to record stats from each season that they had more than 800 yards, and if they didn't have 800 yards at all in any of their seasons, I went to 500. So with that being said, Kelce has had 800 plus yards since he started playing every game in 2014. 2014, he played 16 games, but he only started 11 of those, and he got 862 yards with 5 touchdowns that year. And then he goes up from there, from 862 the next year, 875, then 1,125. Then he drops down to 1,083, jumps back up to 1,336 this year. Whereas you look at Zach Ertz, okay? He's only had 4 seasons where he's had more than 800 yards. 3 of those seasons were 800. His biggest out of those 3 were 853, then 824, 816. This last year is the first year he hit 1,000 yards. Now in 2014, I gave him a little bit of an honorable mention because he was only 100 yards shy.
Alex Smith does.
But yeah,
He had Alex Smith for those years too.
yeah, Travis
So
Kelce
it's
did.
a different kind of style. From
But Zach
Yeah.
Ertz. If you look at Zach Ertz, though, I mean, he's been in the league since 2013. He's only been in 2 Pro Bowls. Kelce, 4. Kelce was 10th in receiving and receptions, 8th in receiving yards, and 6th in receiving touchdowns, and that's including receivers. So he was 10th, 8th, and 6th in all the lists, including receivers. So he was receiving a lot of receivers in the leagues. So I mean, I got Kelce as the number 1 now, and the one I don't understand why it's on the list. And Mr. Nyberg, if you happen to see this, I'm sorry, bro, but Rudolph is trash.
Yeah.
I don't know
yeah.
why.
I looked at his stats and
Oh,
yeah. Yeah,
I
Rudolph
get-
is.
No, if Mr. Nyberg ends up seeing this at any point, because back when I used to kick it with him a lot, he kept on flexing, saying that we got a good tight end too, and Kyle Rudolph, and Rudolph had like
And he's been in the league since 2011, and he's only had, like I said, I recorded stats based off years where they had 800 plus yards. Kyle Rudolph had 1 year where he was over 800 yards, and that was in 2016. 17, 532. Last year 634. In
Well, Kyle
2014,
Rudolph to me is kind of like what was it? What was the tight end that played with Baltimore? Wait, he played with Baltimore for a little bit, but then who did he play with before that? Man, it's losing me right now. Ah,
but I mean, hold on. So if I go off career stats where they're at now, so like I said, Kyle Rudolph has been in the league the longest, and out of these four, he has the second lowest yardage out of the four, with 3,787. The only person beneath him is George Kittle, who only played his second year this year with 1,892. He's on. If he keeps playing the way he does, he's gonna pass Kyle Rudolph within the next 2 years.
Hmm.
Now, take it, Zach Ertz, like Light Bright said, 4,827 with 29 touchdowns. Kelce, 5,236 yards with 32 touchdowns. And he's played 80 games since he's been with the Chiefs, and that's where he's at yards and reception wise. Whereas Zach Ertz has played 91 games with the Eagles.
Yeah, but if
And
you look at it though, also though, like Zach Ertz's first couple of years, like they weren't even really throwing him the ball. So, but I mean, still, like when his first year, he had 36 receptions, 469 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Okay, they didn't really throw it to him much. And then in 14, he had 58 receptions, 702 yards. I mean, and then as you look at it more in his career stats, they started throwing it to him more, and he started producing more. They finally started but when you look at Travis Kelce, like they were automatically hitting Kelce from the get go, because he was like one of their secondary options. Like if you look at what Philadelphia's had throughout time as far as receivers, Zach Ertz really, wasn't really needed that much.
Zach
You
Ertz was
know,
like their biggest guy though for these past few years. I mean, yeah, they had
and also
Deshaun
they had
Jackson, but he's not
also
that
Alshon
big.
Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey's a pretty big guy.
He's like what, 6'2"?
Alshon Jeffrey. No, I think Alshon's like 6'4", 215, 220 or something like
And
that.
Zach Ertz is
Yeah,
6'5",
Alshon Jeffrey,
250.
yeah.
Alshon Jeffrey, yeah.
the Jeff,
He's
oh,
a
the
big guy.
receiver.
Yeah.
Alshon's big, yeah, like six
He's like
three,
six
6'4".
four, 6'5".
Yeah, 6'3".
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking like
He's
6'3",
lengthy.
6'4", maybe, but around there though. Yeah, you're right, you're right.
He's
Yeah.
lengthy.
But I
Alshon
mean,
But I
Jeffrey
got a
lengthy.
question for Light though. So with Deshaun Jackson there, like you really think that they're really going to be giving it to Zach Ertz like that, lot? Like I
They
just feel
have.
like
I
Carson
I
Wentz is the
feel.
type to like take the top off the defense if he has the chance
I
to.
mean,
He's not
I mean,
passing
no.
without
I
running.
mean,
But I'm
honestly,
just saying,
Deshaun Jackson isn't going to come in there greedy because I mean now there's a lot of options. Carson Wentz has Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, uh, uh, Deshaun Jackson, Zach Ertz. Uh, is Golden Tate still there? Or did he leave? Oh wait,
no,
yeah,
he's gone.
he's in New York. Yeah, he's in New
you
York.
have a oh shoot, man, I'm looking at the wrong. You have a
But
great
still, I mean,
but I'm just saying
Alshon
though,
Jeffrey,
Carson
Deshaun
Wentz is the
Jackson,
type of
Nelson
quarterback.
Aguilar, Zach Ertz. I mean,
But I'm just
nice
saying,
little
though, like,
combo.
this is just my little disputation. But he's gonna want to take the top off the defense, especially with Deshaun Jackson there. Like, I don't think that Carson Wentz is the type of quarterback, even though he has all those weapons and things like that. He is going to use Deshaun Jackson. Like, it's just like, and I don't think that Zach Ertz is going to really propel this year. I just
Here's the
don't
thing,
see it.
though.
Not with that accusation.
If we
I
try,
don't think.
if we're trying to compare, okay, so we're trying to see who's going to fill this spot of Gronk. So let's look at Gronk here. What kind of
Yeah,
what kind of tight end was Gronk? Gronk was a tight end that racked up not just receptions, but yak stats too. He had great yards after catch. Gronk ended his career with only 521 receptions and 7,861 yards. You look at Kelce and Ertz; those guys are almost under 100 receptions to go before they tie Gronk, and they're still 3,000 yards behind him.
Yeah,
So
but then at the same
if you
time,
look
yeah,
at
that's
Gronkowski,
like, yeah,
Gronkowski is more of a receiving tight end that racks up yards after catch then
And that's when they utilize them. That's when the Patriots utilize them the best. They always utilize them either in second or third down situations,
so
and
I th-
every single time they threw it to him, especially when he was in the slot, his yak would be incredible. Like,
yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people see as what makes a tight end the number one tight end is because look at the yak. I mean, Gronkowski would mow people over when he was super healthy,
oh yeah,
just like Kelsey does. Well, Kelsey doesn't really mow people over; he jumps over them.
He's more finesse. He's more
Yeah,
finesse.
he
yeah,
likes
but
to.
Yeah.
Gronkowski was just bam. It was just
But I
he
mean,
just had strength, size,
so like
speed.
I
He didn't have
said,
speed at all,
yeah.
but
So like I
but
said, out of the four, I should say it's more like out of the two because like I said, I don't know why Kyle Rudolph was on that
oh
picture
no,
in
no.
general. And
I
then
mean,
as for
unless
George
Kirk
Kittle,
Cousins just had a whole breakout year.
as for George Kittle, I think it was a little too soon to throw him into that picture. George Kittle, yes, he balled out.
But,
He got the most receiving yards in a season by a tight end, but it's only his
listen,
second year. I mean,
but
you we're trying to
But
compare.
I
We're
mean,
trying to
but
compare.
it's not even. But
bro,
he had
like you gotta
such a
listen. Like,
giant.
wait.
He had such a giant leap though, because I mean, his first year he had 43 receptions, 515 yards, average 12 yards. His longest reception was 44, and he had 2 touchdowns. Then the next year he jumps up to 88 receptions, 1,377 yards, averaging 15.6 yards, and had 5 touchdowns.
So are we
How many
basing this
games
I
did
off?
mean,
he
that's
play?
a giant leap.
That
How
is a
many games
giant
did he
leap.
play?
That is a giant
Huh?
leap.
How
But
many games did he play?
this year he
He played
played.
the whole
Yeah,
season.
he played all
How about
16
last
games.
year?
The year before that,
Last year,
he played all but one game.
yeah.
It is a giant leap. Don't get me wrong.
It is
But
a
then
giant leap.
this is what we gotta like attribute to. Okay, hear me out. He made a giant leap, but is that attributed to just the way he plays or to the quarterback situation in San Francisco? Look at Travis Kelce.
Everything to do with the way he plays.
Black Magic and Don Mega already pointed out that Travis Kelce has been consistent with not just one quarterback, 2 different quarterbacks now. You got
Hmm.
Showtime Mahomes, who likes to throw the ball down, and then you had the dump off king and Alex Smith, and Travis Kelsey still made things work. Whereas if you look at George Kittle, don't get me wrong, great player. I think he's got a great future. But I mean, is it because of who he had throwing to him this year, and he was able to show a little more compared to who he had the year before? That kind of really just dumped the ball off and didn't really give him enough time to break away and break open. Does that come into play with these guys? I mean,
I
Zach.
don't think. I don't think. I don't think that with especially with George Kittle necessarily it would apply to him because it's only his second year, and he's still healthy,
He is still healthy, and
He's still healthy. He's still
I feel
healthy,
like it's a little
but
too soon to throw him in this picture because it's only his second year. You can jump up one year and then fall off the
mhm,
next.
that's very true. But then we haven't let him develop yet after 2 years yet.
Exactly. So we got to see if he
And at
stays
the same time,
consistent.
I agree with Black Magic on this one because like it's just like look how Gronk did in his first 2 years. You know what I mean? Like I think this kid has so much potential. Like don't get me wrong. With Jimmy G, like I don't know what Jimmy G's gonna do, but I mean he might be another.
Yeah, but like, but who's
But, like,
who's
if
Gronk
this
back up
guy
for
is
again? His first
good,
2 years or
I
his
think he's
first year?
still good. But I mean he's not the best right
Wasn't he a
now, but in
backup?
5 years he will be.
I don't think
No, I'm
Gronk
talking
was
about
a backup. I think he
wasn't Gronk any
no.
any point a backup?
I think he came out starting because they lost their
Yeah,
tight
no,
end that
no,
year.
no, yeah.
Well, didn't they have what's his name? The other tight end,
Bennett,
Martellus,
yeah, Martellus Bennett, yeah.
Martellus Bennett. Yeah. Okay.
I think
All right.
so, yeah. I think that
Isn't
was
the
Bennett.
Martellus Bennett?
It was one of the Bennett brothers.
I think it was
Yeah,
Martellus
man, I
Bennett,
don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
the tight end. It's
but
interesting, man.
but
But hey,
we're gonna
honestly,
we're gonna have to come back because we're running a little late on this one. But all right, YouTube, you tell us: is there a tight end we forgot to mention that might be in this situation that can replace again Nyberg? Sorry, but replace Rudolph, cut him out of that. But you heard our thoughts. You heard Lightbright's thoughts on Zach Ertz. But you let us know, and we'll come back and we'll see. We'll see how it goes this year and who can claim that number one spot that's open. All right, guys, we're out.
hey,